Proper strumming. How to strum properly and then strumming through the strings. All right, what you want to do with your right hand, make sure your pick is perpendicular to the strings, which means you don't want your pick turned up like this. It will not have enough of the pick attacking the strings. You don't want it turned down. You want it to be perpendicular so you get, and your pick just sort of rolls off each one of them, whether you're going down or up. All right. Then your strum motion is come from two places, actually, from your elbow and from your wrist. Now, each person will have slightly different techniques. How much elbow you use. Some people, I know some great players that use all elbow. I know some great players like Tim Stafford that uses mostly wrist and no elbow. It's actually best to use a combination of the both, and that's what I do. I use my elbow, and according to if I'm doing a fast pattern, I may use more wrist, or a slow pattern, I'll use less wrist and more elbow. The main thing to also remember is when you're strumming, if you're playing the blue, you want to strum through the strings. And what I mean by through, start at the 6th string and go all the way through the little string. You don't want to do this. You don't want to go and stop on about the G string. Or you don't want to start on the G on about the 3rd string. So you want to do all 6 strings. Like that. All right, we're just about ready to get started playing songs, and we want to do a warm-up exercise. But I want to tell you about using a metronome. I found it useful to always practice with a metronome. Nothing is worse than learning to play the guitar and learn playing out of time. Because I can promise you, no one wants to play with a guy that rushes or drags. So you want to learn to play what's called in meter. Now, ChordBuddy actually makes a pretty nifty metronome, and it's called the 750, the CBM 750. They come in several colors. This is it here, and it's what I'll be using today. But before we start, I want to explain, you play the blue with your pinky and you play all 6 strings. You play D, red, with your ring finger, and you play 4 down. Now if you catch the 5th string, that's fine. That is actually in that chord. Your middle player, your middle finger, plays green, which is C, and you play 5 down. You don't play the top string. The yellow, which is E minor, you press with your index finger, and you play all of them again. Okay? So, blue, all 6, red, bottom 4, green, bottom 5, E minor, yellow, index, all 6. All right, so the metronome, very useful device. You just press the red button to turn it on, and I'm going to start it. You'll hear it. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, play. Blue, 2, red, 2, 3, 4, green, 2, 3, 4, yellow, 2, 3, 4, blue, 2, 3, 4, red, 2, 3, 4, green, 2, 3, 4, yellow, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's your first warm-up. I want to go over one thing for you before we get off of this subject. How to get clear tone. Each button, the blue, the red, the green, the yellow, require different pressures to get clear tone. That is intentional. The pinky is typically your weakest finger, so it's the easiest to press. Your next strongest finger is your ring finger, so it takes more pressure to play the D, the red, than the blue. Your middle finger is stronger than your ring finger, so it takes more pressure to play the green than it did the red. The yellow, which is played with your index, is the strongest finger of them all, so it requires more pressure than any of them. So that is all actually intentional that we did that. Now, how do you get clear tone? How do you determine how much pressure to press each button with? Here's how you do it. Start playing the bottom string, the E string, open without pressing any buttons. 1. Okay. As you're picking, slowly press the red button D until it mutes it out. There you are. Now, if I strum all the strings now, hear that? It's muted. It's not enough pressure. So continue picking until it gets clear. Now strum them all. And they're all clear. So it requires that much pressure. If you press any harder, it's not going to get any better because it's already where it needs to be. It's only going to make your finger tired. So for every string, for every chord, determine how much pressure it takes to make it play clean and clear, and you're on your road to success.